Hey, welcome back to the Howcast. This is Pastor Cody Morehead, and I'm here joined by
Carver
and
Ryan.
Yeah, that's right. We're very excited. Oh, sorry, and also Mark.
Oh yeah, I'm in the corner still.
Yeah. Yeah.
I waved to the
Face the corner now.
Okay.
We were joking that we're going to make this a youth ministry / roasting Mark podcast. The verdict's still out on whether or not we're going to do that.
Weren't you just going to make another podcast that was just roasting Mark for?
We've got enough
45
material
minutes?
for at least a whole season of podcasts.
Probably.
Yeah. But no, we're going to talk about youth ministry today. And I think it's actually really cool because there's so much happening for our students right now. And it's unique because they're in a season of life where they're getting ready for summer. And all the things that we have leading up to summer kind of set the stage for our summers. Our summers are kind of blockbusters. So, Carver, talk about some of the things that you're excited for summer, the summer calendar that's coming out. There's a big one. There's a big one that we love every year.
Oh, yeah. The Canterbury Medieval Festival.
Yeah.
That one is going to be so much
Yep.
fun.
Yep.
I can't wait. So we dress up in like night costumes and we go and we watch knights beat each other.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. And they sell pickles. So
Yes.
That's cool too.
I take extra cash because you can pay $5
Oh, yeah.
and have them arrest somebody in your party. And last year we did that to Joe and
Maddox.
And it was
The best part of the day.
it was the highlight.
They sat in a jail cell for like 10 minutes.
They
It was
did,
great.
they
We
did.
just sat there and stared at them.
They're like,
awesome.
you can pay their bond. I'm like, no, we're good.
And then they took them out and we got pictures of them like pretending to execute them. It was great.
We did, yeah, absolutely. And like the thing that we liked, I think we liked the food. The food is good too because there's just a big old turkey leg. It's awesome. But
Yeah, and Maddox tried to dig out with a spoon. He didn't get very far.
no, he didn't.
So.
He didn't. So no, but we really had a good time with that. But there's also some amazing things that are coming up. June, July, August, and September. When we talk about like what we're doing, and one huge thing is our camps. Like if there's one thing that I, as a youth pastor, believe, and I'm not like I know every other youth pastor, every family's had a different experience, but I would say this: if there's one thing that I could push as a genuinely life-changing experience for students, it's camp. Like camp, we used to tell people this, like in a given year, a youth pastor has between 35 and 52 hours with a student. Like if they come to everything on a Sunday night, if they come to weekend retreats, whatever, like you have a little bit more, a little bit less, but on average, it's like 30 to 50. Families have 3,000 to 5,000 hours of influence in their child's life. If you add a week of camp, if that's all you do, you add a week of camp, you quintuple the amount of influence you have in a kid's life, hours-wise. And it's amazing because you're there with them. You're there with them from sunup to sundown, and it's this incredible experience. And like it's time away where they're around people who love the Lord, who are trying to push them to engage in their faith in a way that's different, that's uncomfortable, that is real and raw. And we just watch kids go, and they go like, this is the most amazing thing. Like for me, for my personal testimony, like this, like camp is a humongous part of my personal testimony because that's where I met your dad. And like because of camp, I am still 25 years later, 25 years later, still doing ministry with your dad and still here at church because of camp. So like, if you think I'm just kidding or blowing smoke, like this is a real thing for me. So I think camp is really, really amazing, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ryan, you have a middle schooler in our program.
This is true.
Yes. This is so true. You actually have 2 middle schoolers in our program.
That is also true.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that they're excited about?
What's interesting with my 2 older ones, I don't know, because every time they do something, it's the most amazing experience ever. Like, they went to camp, they're like, oh, this is the most amazing thing I've ever done in my life. And then they went to Viking games, they're like, oh, this is the most amazing thing I've ever done in my life. Then they went to winter brain freeze or whatever, like, oh, it's the most amazing thing. Then they, like Joe just the other day when he went and played cards with Carver and Kyle and those guys, he's like, oh, this is the best day of my life, Dad. I'm like,
Yeah, he told me, he's like, that's a day I'll never forget.
Yep,
I'm like,
yep.
okay, we just played cards.
That's awesome. But like, I do think it's great. I don't think that people always realize like the kids, middle school, high school, are at an age where like every experience has the opportunity to completely alter their life. Like, it's not a small thing. Like, when he says, like, this is the best day of my life, this is amazing. Like, what he's saying is, like, each of these experiences, like, brings me to a place where I'm just so happy and elated and full of joy that, like, this is the life that I get to be a part of. And, like, that's why student ministry, especially at our church, is such an important thing. It's such an important facet of who we are. I mean, this past Sunday, NGen, our Next Gen Ministry worship team, led worship on Sunday morning, and our people loved it. Like, they were into it. They were excited to see students on stage, and, like, you know, we have some really, really talented kids in our program, but, like, they were just excited to see them. And, you know, when I think about it, it's like, that's the kind of church that we've always wanted to have. That's the kind of church we've wanted to build. One where students feel like this is not just like on youth nights in Lodge. Like, this is actually our church on Sunday mornings too. And I think that's a really cool thing. So Carver, you've been doing, we're coming up on a year that you've been just over a year that you've been a part of really the leadership of the Lodge. So tell me, what are some things that you've learned about youth ministry, the Lodge in general? What are some things that, like, you'd want our church to know about why youth ministry is so important?
Well, first, Baja Blast fuels anything you do in youth ministry.
Yes.
So you can get kids to do about anything for a can of Baja Blast.
It's true.
So that's super critical and super important. But also just that the kids they're like, right now we're at a place where the kids just want to be together and spend time together, really, in whatever we do. As simple as playing cards, simple as hanging out, or just
Going to Sheets.
We spent an hour and a half at Sheets. Best event ever. We took 19 students.
It's a gas station, just so everyone knows.
But we just spent an hour and a half just sitting around talking, making videos, laughing, and just having a good time.
Yep.
And it was like, they just want to spend time together. Like, they asked us on the car ride back. They're like, when are we doing this again? When are we doing this again? I'm like, it's just a gas station. But it's awesome. And it was just, they just crave for that community and spending time together in a godly community. And I think just creating those moments and curating events around that is so crucial for their development.
Yeah, well, and you know, from a dad perspective, right, you know, sitting on the other side of it, I notice, like, they just get so excited about it, right? Like, and how I have it is it's them connecting with God, right? Because though my kids go to public school, and you know, so I hear what goes on. The world is kind of lost and broken, and I know from talking to my kids, when they go to youth groups and they go to these events, and my kids spend a lot of time hanging out with Carver, and the conversations are amazing, and there's banter, but nobody's attacking each other's person. Nobody's hurting anybody's feelings. And the moment somebody feels like their feelings are hurt, it's like, oh, no, that's not what we're all about here. It's just I don't know. I mean, for lack of a better term, I think it's it's a beautiful thing, and it's such a valuable thing from a dad perspective with teenagers, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, that community, we cannot undersell how important godly community is in the life of a developing student. Like, a developing teenager needs to have godly community. It's almost the most vital thing for them to have, because it teaches them how to interact with the body of Christ. It helps them understand their identity is not the world. It's actually part of something else. Like, you're part of something bigger, and it gives them a place and a purpose to live out their faith in a way that, honestly, I know there's adults that are jealous of the kind of faith that students have. And I don't mean that there's so, you know, it's not like students are better, or but if we have the influence and we can start to shape lives at this age, then not only do we help them avoid some of the heartache, some of the trouble, some of the nonsense that goes with life, but we also are at a place where we can spear them in the right direction when it comes to faith and the decision they're making that will shape the rest of their life. I actually was thinking about this. I don't mean to offend any parents, but I'm gonna speak.
Thank you. Thanks for that disclaimer.
Yeah. I'm going to
Somebody's getting offended
from the heart on this one. Like, I have, over the course of 16 years in youth ministry, have heard parents over and over again, I can't get them to come. They don't want to be there, whatever. And I think to myself in the back of my head, like, it was never an option for me. Like, my mom was like, you're going. and I, even if I would have fought it, and I know friends who their parents made them go, and the fear, I know, and I get this, the fear that parents have is that your kids are going to resent it. because you got dragged to these boring services with your parents. And so you think, I don't want to drag my kid to this. Like, I don't want them to resent this or make them feel like I forced faith on them. No, but you are, like, it's so vital to them that it's like you go to the doctor and they say, hey, they need this surgery or they're going to die. And you go, well, let me ask them what they think. Right? Like, no, like you need that community. That's so vital. And so like I guess my challenge always to families is like, your kid doesn't need to have an option whether or not they go. Like, they need to be told, this is how we do things. Like, if you really want your kid, like, I'll tell you, it is a life changer. And I will say this too. I have a feeling when you start sending them and making them go regularly, even if they don't like it at first, eventually it's just become something they beg to go to. Because I cannot tell you how many times parents have done that in my many, many years of youth ministry, almost 2 decades, where I have been talking to parents and they go, I don't want to make them. And I was like, well, here's the deal. You got to make them, because like, if you leave the decision up to them, they'll do whatever they want. They're going to, like, why wouldn't they? We always choose the things. When we're left to our own devices, we always choose the things that aren't good for us. We just are, right? So like, why would your student be any different? An underdeveloped adult, like, why would they be any different? So you have to make them go. Like, make them be a part of something that's bigger than themselves and commit to it and tell them, like, you're going. And I guarantee you it's going to change the way that they see church, because they're the first time where they go and they go, man, that was fun. It's going to completely alter their personality and who they are. And like, parents all the time are like, well, can you fix them? Well, I didn't break them. So like, like, I didn't do the breaking. Like, neither did you. Like, that's just sin. That's what happens. But if you don't put them in situations where they have to be engaged in relationships with other Christians and followers of Christ, then like, that good character is going to be affected by the world, and it's no longer going to be good. And so like, that's the goal, I think, for families. Does that make sense?
I think I'm with you, man. I mean, I understand that I can't keep my kids in a bubble their whole life.
Yeah.
And so I have to send them out to the world. I mean, and that's the beauty part. And then such a unique thing about, I think, what we do here is, I send them out in the world, but then they're still in a super controlled environment, right? Because anybody that's going to be talking to them or giving them any kind of advice, I know they're the same people I would go to for advice. Yeah. I mean, I would run by my stuff by them. And so, and when I ask my boy, I'm like, okay, who, if I'm not around and you got a major problem, like, who would you talk to? Kyle. Well, who else? Matt. Well, who else? Carver. Who else? Cody. Yeah. I mean, he just runs. Who else? Mark. He just runs down the list of everybody that is all the people that I would go and talk to if I had a major problem. So I'm like, that's solid, right? And there's something special to say that to create that space in which these kids, not only are they having fun, they have so much fun, they also feel safe and connected.
We talk about fun all the time. Like, fun is such. And I know this. I know the pushback we get from people is all you do is talk about fun. You fun. And it's like there's more to faith than fun. And I agree. Like, I'm not discounting that. There's so much more to faith than just having fun. There's sorrow, and there's grief, and there's anger, and there's processing, and there's questioning, and there's doubt. The reason that fun is the reason what we build around is because that fun over time is what builds lasting relationships. And if you don't have lasting relationships that are connected to Jesus Christ, then when you go through the grief and the heartache and the trouble and the anger and the doubt, what you're going to do is isolate. And the people who you're supposed to have the best relationships with, you're gonna reject and be away from. When you're in relationship with people, the chances that when you go through those things that you stay steadfast and you're brought back to your faith are much higher. I mean, there's a whole group of people right now that this whole deconstruction movement, right, and evangelicals, like, this is the whole thing that's happening in churches right now. You see it all over TikTok. You see it also all over social media. I was in church and this happened and I left. And it's like, and I am just going to be honest with you. Every time I hear that, in the back of my mind, I go, that person didn't have close community. Like, I might be right or wrong. I'm a human being. But that's exactly what I think. I think if that person had good community, like actual genuine relationships with other followers of Christ, that questioning, deconstruction of faith. What do I believe? What do I need to believe? That all happened in a vacuum where they made their own assessments instead of being in relationship with people who love them enough to be honest with them. And I think that's why when we talk about fun in youth ministry, fun is the cornerstone of any good, deep, lasting relationship. And fun happens before truth, because you can't expect to drop truth bombs on people without having a relationship that's built with fun first, right? Like that's just how it works, and especially with students. So I don't know if that makes sense. So
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I kind of hear that as like just creating that safe space, right? Like, I mean, that's, all this work at Save Warrior, that's what we talk about, right? Creating a container, right? It's a container. It's a metaphorical container in which you know that the people in this container only want for you and want nothing from you. And when you have that, you're able to create enough bumpers in life where it doesn't matter when the hard time comes. It's like if I'm doing life with my people, then I'm going to see somebody every day, and they're going to pick up on that, right? And I'm not going to be able to isolate. I don't know, Mark. What do you think?
I don't know. Everybody is willing to tell you what they think is the right choice, but not many people are willing to show you that they care enough to point you in the right direction, and that you matter enough that it's for you, not for them, not so that they can feel good about what they told you, but it's genuinely to build you up. And that's why you did. That's what it did to me when I was in youth group with Cody, and he was my youth pastor, and he spent time with me showing me that he wasn't just this person that's like, I'm going to tell you what to do and you better do it the way I tell you to do it. Instead, he's like, hey, I'm going to spend time with you because you matter to me and I love you and I care about you. And then when he was like, here's some wisdom, it punched heavier because somebody proved to me that I mattered. Not that their opinion did, but that I did. And that's why I love the way we do it, like that we focus on fun, spending time with people, because that's what you would do in your life. With the relationship of people that you care about anyway. You would spend time with them, doing fun things, doing things that matter to you, enjoying the time you have with them so that you get closer. That's what the purpose of it is. And so I love how we do it. I love the reason why we do it. I love the purpose of it because it allows me to now have those same opportunities Cody had with me to talk with students, to have a conversation. Heck, I have a Bible study that's every Monday afternoon, but the school we do it at had their spring break, and so the students were like, can we do it like still? And I'm like, sure. So we went to Cascades, did a Bible study, and then played pickleball afterwards. And they laughed at me because Chet and I would do a ballerina spin every time we switched sides for the pickleball. So we would twirl as we switched. Just goofy stuff that we all were laughing at, and it's weird. But for them, it shows I'm like, hey, I care enough to invest time in you. You are someone that's important to me that I see having value. And so when I have conversations and try to give wisdom and give guidance, they have that support already of, no, he's not just saying it to say it. He's saying it because I matter. Yeah. So.
I mean, you're dead on. Like when you care about people, you care about what they care about. And like, I think there's so much this, like there's so many podcasts on youth ministry, YouTube channels, resources, everybody, all these pastors telling you how to do youth ministry. This is where it is, right? And then like, I just see youth pastors that get stuck in the paralysis of analysis. It's like, there's this mountain of information about like, okay. And I see it with parents too. Well, I don't even know where to start with my kid. Well, like you start in the same place anybody would ever start in any relationship. It's just a teenager. Like you just go do things you like and invite them to join you. That's why I went to Sheets. Like Carver loves going to Sheets. Like, so we did that. Like, and they all joined because they love Carver and they want to go do something fun together. Right. And that is a relationship building experience. It's like, okay, now we understand every time Carver talks about Sheets now, all those 19 kids that go, oh my gosh, I was there. Like, and they feel like they're part of this inside joke. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're part of this inside thing. Like and it's like, but then the kids who weren't able to go, or, they're like, okay, I want this. I want this experience. I want to have this kind of, and it becomes more important for them to build relationship and get in and get involved and like do things. And it's like, it's not it's not rocket science. It really is just go and live life and make sure that the students that are part of what we're doing are part of our life, so they can see that we're the same everywhere. That we don't just play church on Sunday, that we don't just show up in our like lodge gear and go, look, this is great, and then we're a completely different person outside of that. We're the same person everywhere. And I think that is that cornerstone, that's what we build off of. And
I mean, that's what the early church did. They did life together. Yeah. So it's basically shown for us all the way back then. In a different way, for the culture that they had, it's the way they did it, but they did life together. They spent time with one another. Their life was, hey, I'm going to do this thing with you because we're both on the same page. We both love Jesus, and let's do this thing together. And that it's technically simple, but we're really good at overcomplicating things. So
it's true. I just want to close. I want to actually ask you guys something. So I'll start, and then I'm going to ask you guys to kind of answer this. But for me as a youth pastor, I've had so many years of doing this. I've had so much life change, watched God do so much life change in kids. And it's just changed my perspective. And every time I just sit and think about it, I can think of like a dozen different students that I'm excited about what God's doing in their life and where they've come from to where they're at now. And so I'm just going to, I would ask who's that? What's one story that you're excited about right now and somebody that you've watched kind of grow? And so get prepared for that. I'm going to start because I have the mic, and you guys can think about that. But I want for me, one kid who's there's so many, and this isn't discounting any of the kids that are having life change and doing amazing things. But I think it's important for you as the listener, for the people who are on the podcast, to hear some of the names of the kids who we're watching just have this incredible life change and success and really get excited about youth ministry. And so these are kind of like God sightings. We call them God sightings at camp, right? Where we're like, hey, God's doing something amazing. And so I'll just say the Thursday night Bible study is incredible. Judah Bauman's been running that with Keegan Rates, and there's a whole bunch of people. Michaela Smith's there. Liana Schultz is there. Nick Newman is there. They're just kids who are getting excited about what God's doing, and they've taken it upon themselves to do this Bible study. And so being able to watch them and watch how that's changed the way they perceive things since they started till now has been amazing. And so big shout out to them. So that's my big God sighting win. So yeah.
I know. Mark? I think about Eli. Eli's really been working hard to grow and to do better and to live for Christ and to be selfless and to make decisions that he wants to be proud of when he grows up. And so it's been really cool to see. Shannon's been having conversations with me. She's like, I don't know what you said to him today, but he did this really awesome thing that middle schoolers don't normally do. And he was really mature about it. Whether it was he's like, I'm going to get rid of my VR. And she's like, what? You don't want to play it? He's like, no, I want to be good. And so seeing the maturity in that and watching his growth, because I know in the summer, especially when he went to camp this past summer, is when it really kind of hit him in his heart. I noticed that I watched it click. And ever since then, he's been really asking questions, trying to figure it out. I give him rides to the Jackson campus for youth group, and he's always my last one to drop off. So we always get to have the deep conversations from the Carrick and Carver's house back to Eli's, and he's asking stuff, and I'm what I'm doing is I'm just hey, this is what my experience was to something that's relevant to you, and I wish I would have done this instead, or I'm glad I did this. And so it's cool to see Eli especially be in that place of hunger in his faith and trying to grow and actually doing it. It's been cool to hear when Shannon's he did this. I'm like, good job, Eli. Proud of you, buddy.
Mine's going to be Grayson. Just seeing how he's developed and how he just kind of started coming to youth group because I invited him on a whim. I was like, hey, it'd be really fun if you came. And then he just was coming to play basketball. You could tell. Yeah. But over time, he's coming and he's really getting involved and he's developing friendships and he's coming for more than just basketball, which is just great to see that the progress that's been happening there.
He's learning tech too.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. So me, well, this is interesting for me because I'm sitting here with youth pastor. So I'm not a youth pastor. It's not anything that I have any kind of wheelhouse in, but I do have lots of kids.
But you're a dad pastor.
Yeah, I know. I'm a dad pastor, so I guess that counts too, because I'm doing youth ministry every day at home.
It's true.
But no, I think that I in my little, kind of small experience with this, I listen to you guys think, and I just think, like, these dudes have all poured in. You guys have all poured into my kids like crazy. And what Joe tells me, and you'll appreciate this too, he doesn't tell me about how they played cards or what we did at youth group or what we did here. You know what he talks about? He talks about the conversations that you have while you're driving cars. Oh, I was talking with Carver about this, or I was talking to Mark about this, or I was talking to Cody about this, or I was talking to Andrew about this. That's another name I hear. And he'll talk about and he talks about real stuff with substance. He'll talk about the Bible, he'll talk about God, and he'll talk about how he's having these conversations. So whatever you're saying, it's getting through because that's the stuff he's remembering. And I think that's pretty powerful. Because for me, a lot of times I talk a lot about that too, but I wonder if it's like, just spilling on the floor and.
Oh, yeah. Kyle and I used to always say, we'll tell a kid something, and they'll go home and say, Pastor Cody said that. And their parents will be like, I've told you that a dozen times, right? Like, there's just something to, widening their circle, right? Their sphere of influence, making sure that the people that you trust as a parent are part of that. And, so we take that. We don't take that lightly, right? That's an important thing for us, as ministers of the gospel. Like, we don't take that trust that families put in us lightly. So, yeah. Well, I mean, this is a little snapshot into our youth ministry. You want any more information? We have a link tree. It's linktree/Lodge Students, and we're on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, and there's all sorts of cool things going on. I know Carver posts a lot of our stuff in Huddle Strong too when we post, but you can check those things out. Our Facebook page has tons of pictures, our events that are coming up. And just ways that if you have a student and you're watching this and they're not connected, or if you're watching and they are connected, like, it's a great way to stay connected on the things that are coming up and the things that are going on, and just keep praying for the students that we have in our area. We have a pretty big youth group now, but there's always more kids that aren't part of what we're doing, and we are always praying that God sends us as many kids as we can possibly handle, because every kid is an opportunity for life change and for a life given to Jesus Christ. And so that's a big deal. So thanks. This has been the Huddlecast. Until next time, peace.